Hello, sports fans. King Ikiboo coming to you live from the underground bunker. Not going to play anything today. I just want to announce what I am planning for my next project. Yes, my mind has been going a million miles an hour. That's what it does. It goes a million miles an hour, thinking of things to do. Because I like what I hear from a lot of the people in our community, because I watch a lot of your videos. You guys like small little projects. You like things that are fast and you do a lot of different things, and that's great. But King Ikiboo is a mad king. Not angry, but insane. And I don't watch Game of Thrones, but when I was searching for a picture of a mad king, a lot of Game of Thrones references came up. So I don't know what that's about, but I am the mad king. And you'll believe me when I say this, because I'm going to do another massive project. And this is the kind of thing I'm interested in. I'm trying to figure out the greatest team of all time. That's the kind of stuff I want to think about. And I just don't, grab one of these teams, 50-pack teams of best teams, and let's play with them. No, that's not what I do. That's not the way I roll as the mad king. The insane king. I don't roll that way. This is what I am going to do. I am going to take every team that has won a pennant, or when the division world comes in 1969, who has won the division. All the teams that have won the pennant before 1969, and then 1969 after, the 4 divisions. All the teams that have won those divisions. And they're going to be eligible to play in this tournament. So every pennant winner, every division winner is eligible to be the best team in history. Now, not only do we stop there, but I'm a big believer in the Pythagorean win-loss theorem. The run differential. And let's look here at the 1900s. That's where I'm thinking about starting the first decade of the 20th century. And so you look at the National League in 1901. The Pittsburgh Pirates were the pennant winners that year with a record of 90-49, 647 win-loss percentage. But I don't stop there. I believe in the Pythagorean win-loss run differential. And they were also number 1 in that as well. So they automatically get a bid into the tournament. And you look at the first 7 years of the National League, all the pennant winners were also number 1 in Pythagorean win-loss run differential. Do I have to say that every time, or can I just call it run differential? I'm going to call it run differential from now on. But that's basically the Pythagorean, the record that they should have had based on their runs for and against. But when you get to 1908, now we all remember that classic 3-team series between the Pirates, Giants, and Cubs, and the Merkel-Boner, that crazy scene. We all read about it. We wish we were there to see it. But not really, because we'd be dead now. But anyway, just aside, something just pops in my head. But anyway, the Cubs ended up winning that pennant that year. And Giants fans might say they stole it. I don't know. It adds, we remember it because of that, right? But anyway, however, they won the division, or they won the pennant. But in the Pythagorean win-loss run differential. I promise I just say run differential, so I'll try to remember to do that. In that, the Giants actually had the better record. So in this case, the Cubs don't automatically get a bid into our fabulous tournament. No, they have to play off with the Giants for one last time to see who gets into the greatest team of all time tournament, 1900s edition. So once we play this off, and we're playing a 3-game, everything's going to be a 3-game series. One thing I've learned in the 1930-68 challenge is that one game series don't work well in baseball, because what do you do with this pitching? Teams lose because, that's why I had just the same pitcher go every time, but only 5 innings. I thought that would work, but it really didn't work that well. We're going to have a 3-game series. That way each team has to use 3 starting pitchers. That's more realistic. But anyway, so a 3-game series between the Cubs and the Giants. The winner of that series gets into this coveted slot of 1908. Then in 1909, the Pirates won the pennant that year, but the Cubs actually had the better record in run differential. So they have a chance one last time to beat the Pirates to see who will be the National League representative in the 1909 tournament. So once we decide these two, then we'll have 9 teams. They're going to be seeded. Okay, so 1 to 7 will automatically advance, and 8 and 9 will have a 3-game series, because we need, tournaments need multiples of 4, right? They don't say the Elite 9. They say the Elite 8. So we need 8 teams, not 9. So the bottom 2 teams in seeding, based on this formula I've come up with, the bottom 2 teams will face off, and those 8 teams will be in the Elite 8 of the National League 1900 decade. And they will fight it to the death until one emerges, and they're the best team, National League team of that first decade. And they will meet the winner of the American League, and they'll be the best team of the decade. That's what we're going to do. And then we're going to do it for every decade. Okay, this is where the madness comes in, because I'm going to do this for every decade. Now, and you see that they're seeded. So right now at this point, this 11th seed right here is Pittsburgh, because they have the lowest. This basically, I take this wins and the Pythagorean wins, add them together, and they get a winning percentage. So they have the lowest winning percentage in the National League at .632. Now, just an aside here, .632, ooh, that's low. But you look at the 90s, and .632, where would that put them in the American League here? They're the greatest team of all time, they say. New York Yankees in 98 only had .685. If they were seeded in the National League in the 1900s, .685, they would be where? A 7th seed? 8th seed. They're below the New York Giants of, they're. So this is going to be, I don't know, this is going to be an interesting tournament to me. Anyway, but they weren't even the greatest team of all time. Everybody says the 98 New York Yankees would be an 8th seed in the National League, just the National League of the first decade of the 1900s. So that tells you something. I think it says something to me. Anyway, I'm getting to statistics. I don't want to go there because people don't like numbers, but I do. Anyway, so they're going to fight off 3-game series all across, and it's based on this theory or this statistic here that I've come up with. And so this 1903 Giants, by this ranking system, are the 11th seed. They're guaranteed to be in the playoff, this bottom playoff, with this 9 and 10 seeds are fighting here. So they will play the winner of the Cubs and the Giants of 1908 will play the 1903 Giants just to get into the Elite 8. That's what I'm saying. Then, so there's 2 playoffs, but in the American League, it is so hotly contested. The first 3 years, we had outright champions, the White Sox, the Athletics, 02 Athletics, and the 03 Pilgrims. Are they the Pilgrims or the Americans? We'll just call them the Red Sox, just for clarity's sake, because it's not Al Pilgrim's fan, it's Al Red Sox fan. So we're going to just call them the Red Sox, even though it was later in the decade that they became the Red Sox. But anyway, they're the outright winners. But the next 6 years, there's only one outright winner, and that's Detroit of 1907. Every other year had a contest. We're going to have a playoff. So, for instance, in 1904, the Boston Red Sox, we're calling them, won the pennant. However, the fourth place team that year, the Cleveland Naps, actually had the best Pythagorean run differential record. So they get to challenge the Red Sox in a 3-game playoff to see who gets this coveted slot of 1904. In 1905, the Athletics won, but the White Sox are challenging because they had a better run differential record. 1906, the Hitless Wonders won, but the Naps once again 8 games ahead of the White Sox in run differential. And in 1908, the Tigers won, and the Naps again. They're the challengers. These guys they had the worst luck in the American League in the first decade. And I guess Cleveland and worse luck, I guess that goes hand in hand because they've had nothing but bad luck ever since, with the exception of a few years here and there, 1948, 1920. Well, they even had bad luck then with their shortstop. They still won the World Series, but that was unlucky. But anyway, Cleveland has been beset with bad luck, and you can see it here because they should have won these pennants these years based on their run differential, and yet they didn't. So they have another chance. King Ikibu, the Mad King, will give them another chance. So then we will play all these playoffs. They'll be here. They'll get the 8-9 playoff, and then we'll have the Elite 8. And then we'll go to town. Now, one thing I'm thinking about, I'm mulling over with this, is I've discovered, I watched one of Robbie's videos, and he was talking about this site. And of course, this is what started all my mind going. This Appa Go Baseball. Because if you subscribe to this thing, and they logged me out, if you subscribe to this thing for $20 a month, you get access to every season. You can do whatever you want with every season, since 1901. That's exactly where we're starting. One thing about this, not only do you have access to every team from 1901 if you subscribe to this, but you can play games on this website with other people. So we could theoretically, no matter what, if you don't, we can start in 1940, doesn't matter. We could theoretically have some people participating with me. I'd have to keep, I'd have to participate in every game because all the stats would be generated on my profile and my account, because there's something here called collections, and the collections, all the stats go into these collections, but there's so much here in this thing. I mean, we could not only do this, but if a bunch of people in our community, I mean, we want something where we can interact with each other, right? If we subscribe to this, $20 a month, now you might think, oh, that's a lot of money. And you don't, if you quit, you got nothing, right? You have no teams take with you. If you can buy the teams for $20 or the seasons for $20 each, and they're always yours, whether you subscribe or not. But if you just subscribe, you just like rent. It's like renting all these teams. But just think of all the things we could do. And I know I'm going off the tangent of my project. I just think we could, if people wanted to participate with me, I could play, for instance, the 1900s using this website. If people don't want to do that, I could just use Strat. I got all the teams in Strat, and I can just play them on Strat and record them and all that kind of thing. But, it's just an idea. I was thinking, maybe, like Al, he's a Red Sox fan. He wants to take on, there's 2 Red Sox teams here. The number 1 seed, the 1903 Red Sox, Al might say, I want to be that team, and he will play all the games with this team in this tournament. And maybe, someone else would take, maybe Ron, he wants the other, but I know he's a Red Sox fan. I mean, maybe he wants the other Red Sox team. And you don't have to, if you just want to be the 1904 Red Sox, for instance, you wouldn't have to subscribe. and pay $20 a month for this thing either. You can buy a single team. You can just go and say, I want 1904 Red Sox. Here they are, $3. They're your team forever. You'll play them in this tournament as long as you want, as long as they last. If they go all the way, that $3, you will spend $3 and you'll play your team all the way to the end of this massive tournament if you want. If that's what you want to do, it's a possibility. Like I said, I have to be on every team because it's going to be my collection that all the stats go into. But that's no big deal. We'll just play together. Anybody who wants to participate. I don't know. I'm just mulling it over. I'm just putting it out there. If you guys aren't interested in anything like that, you say, nah, we don't like APA or whatever. It has no lefty righty splits, or I played one game so far with they give you two teams, right? Last year's World Series, Boston and LA. I played that, and game plays really well. You can roll your own dice if you want to. Has good stats. Here I played as the Red Sox and they won 4-2. Chris Sale over Brock Stewart. And I know that they hit a couple of home runs. Justin Turner, Jock Peterson hit home runs, but Xander Bogaerts had a home run for the Red Sox, so they won 4-2. Anyway, I'm going on a whole bunch of different tangents. I'm just saying that this website is good. It holds all the stats. It would be great for a tournament like this. But if people aren't interested in that, if they don't think it's a good idea, I'll just play my good old Stratomatic. I have the best of 1900s here. I have all the teams here. They're all ready to go. Got all the pictures in. They're all ready to go. They want to go at it. I can just do that and record it, and so on and so forth. And for the, I got other decades here. I got the 1940s ready in Action PC. They're just ready to go. I can do it that way, or I could do it this way. I don't know, just putting it out there. Anyway, so yes, I'm the Mad King. I'm doing another crazy project. I just interested in that kind of stuff. Let's put them all together. This is something they could never do in real life, right? You could never take the 1904 Red Sox and put them up against the 2018 Red Sox. For obvious reasons, but you can do it in this. That's what's interesting to me. What would happen? And sure, if you played it 1,000 times, you'd probably get 500 wins for one and 500 wins for another. And what does it prove? I don't know. In the long run, the best teams do rise to the top. So anyway, I'm rambling now, as I usually do, but I'm going to leave it there. Just announce what I'm going to do. I'm just going to start maybe with I don't know. I'm just going to maybe leave it for a few days. And if you guys think this is a good idea, if you guys want to participate, if you know somebody who might want to participate, that's an upstanding person, not just a troll, but, might say, hey, he's already a subscriber. Here, I'll pick a team and I'll play as them or whatever. I want, the Cubs at least to play as them. I'll always play as the Cubs, but all the other teams are up for grabs. So, yeah. So, anyway, you can't, one thing is it couldn't, Al, if he did 1904 and someone else had Pittsburgh of 1901, they couldn't play against each other because once again, I think it has to be on my profile to accumulate the stats. I have to play as one of the teams, but yeah. Well, once again, I'm just rambling. Anyway, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm kind of thinking as it goes on. That's what I'm thinking of doing. If you think I'm mad, you're right. But up here in the frozen north of King Ikibu land at Tuktoyaktuk, there's not a lot to do. And you think, well, that's a lot of money, $20, but up here in Ikibu land, I mean, the exchange rate, what is it now? Like 70 something cents. I'm going to have to pay $30 a month. So it's more expensive for me. So feel sorry for the king. But I'm willing to do it anyway. I'm used to it. I mean, there's no Canadian There's no Canadian simulations I can buy. I always have to buy American, so I'm used to it. Anyway, see what you think. If not, there's not much interest or no interest at all. I'll just go ahead and I won't subscribe to this. I haven't subscribed yet. I'm just waiting for see what your guys' response is. And if there's no interest in that, then I will just go ahead and start playing and putting them up there, and maybe momentum will start. Maybe after I finish say this decade and people say, hey, that's pretty cool. We got a champion of the decade, and then when we have 12 champions, it was by the time I figure that this will be over, it'll be the 2019 season will be over, and then we'll have 12 complete decades to work with, and that's leaves 12 champions. And those 12 champions, you can imagine I'm going to do something with those 12 champions. You can be sure of that. So, and then there'll be just one champion left standing, which I think would be pretty cool. Anyway, this is King Ikibu coming to you from the underground bunker deep beneath Tuktoyaktuk. Signing off. Goodbye, everybody.